Wetlands are teeming with life. Generous, inspiring, beautiful, vulnerable, necessary. Wetlands work wonders. Varta Rivermouth National Park, autumn. Not all geese that came here from Siberia and the far north are leaving for winter. Here, in the westernmost reaches of Poland, winter can rarely catch you off guard. It arrives late, passes quickly, and bothers little. So even in winter, the Varta River wetlands bustle with life. Sometimes it is best to huddle and wait. Stillness, which is good for the heron, is impossible for the otter. There has never been an otter born to this world that would sit still. For otters, life is motion and play. Mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on a numb frog recovered from under the ice? Why not? We will improve its circulation and then eat it. Beavers. The otter's stately neighbors hardly ever hurry. Branches, and in summer also herbs and grasses, don't run away, so there's no need for beavers to chase their food. Most families stick to their territories and good beaver habits. So as long as water doesn't run short and people mean no harm, beavers can be in a mellow mood, even in wintertime. Regrettably, this place, the northern polder located in the Vidnitsa region within the Vardar Rivermouth National Park, has been depleted of water for years. We have therefore decided to do beavers' work: retain water. Therefore, the project Wetlands Work Wonders Vardar Rivermouth was born. Just as beavers do, we build a network of canals, sluices and weirs. However, we use excavators and cranes while employing a whole team of hydrologists, engineers and constructors. A total of over 160 kilometers of watercourses, 47 culverts and sluices, and 4 weirs with fish passes that will interconnect nearly 3,000 hectares of wet meadows and alder cars. Just under 300 years ago, some of the richest and most fertile wetlands in Europe covered this area. The still wild Vardar River used to flow into the Oder in a wide inland delta, which is quite a unique formation. Unfortunately, by decision of Emperor Frederick the Great, the immense wetlands were drained. As years passed, the old drainage system stopped functioning, and today's northern polder area fell into oblivion. It serves neither people nor nature. The Wetlands Work Wonders project is making a difference rapidly. With funds from the European Commission and the National Fund for Environmental Protection and Water Management, and thanks to the devoted naturalists from the Polish Birds Association and the Vardar Rivermouth National Park, the polder is coming back to life. And the most important thing for life is water. As water returns, so do beavers, otters and birds, while lush pastures reappear for cattle and horses, which are just as typical of the Vardar River marshlands as flocks of wild geese. Birdwatchers and tourists arrive as well. Local businesses, agritourism and farmers can't complain. A win-win situation. Spring. Greylags, sacred birds of the Slavs, are at home here. Here they overwintered and are now among the first to start breeding. He checks if all looks fine in the nest, since the nest is her domain. Some more reed, perhaps? If the fickle spring water rises, these extra centimeters may determine the survival of the whole brood. Greylags usually form pairs for life. However, when nosy scientists decided to check the hatchling's DNA, it turned out that not all brothers and sisters in a nest had the same father. Apparently, our gander knows the results of this research. No wonder he is unwilling to receive guests during this special time. Egg brooding is a strenuous, responsible, and dangerous job, especially when it lasts a month, as it does for greylags. Unfortunately, before the cute and fluffy goslings hatch, the first mosquitoes emerge. Even the best camouflage is no good against them. The exposed, featherless cere around the eyes is a perfect place to suck out some blood. It is also peak season for the cormorant colony. Busy construction is underway. Fresh branches are the best because they are more flexible, durable, and less contaminated with fungi and other microorganisms that could threaten the eggs or hatchlings. But how to break off fresh branches with a beak that normally serves as a fishing tool? Don't tell me I can't handle it. Gotcha. All birds, both those large, like cranes, and those small, like the sedge warbler, are already sitting on their eggs or building their nests, or preparing for it. They now all have only one thing on their minds: including those that are still on their way to the west or the far north and have made a stopover to rest in the welcoming Varta River wetlands, such as famous ruffs, as well as wood sandpipers and greenshanks. Little ringed plovers are at the peak of their breeding season. However small and inconspicuous little ringed plovers may be, they use an impressive array of dancing steps, gestures, and symbols as befits real birds. We can only look in bewilderment at how much they understand of it. One thing is certain, nothing here happens by accident. It is usually safer to stay among neighbors. A spare set of eyes and ears is always welcome. If an enemy approaches, leap all together to the defense of the nests and hatchlings. Black-headed gulls, common terns, redshanks, lapwings, and other colony members. Cooperation is what keeps nature going. This shows more clearly in wetlands than elsewhere. However, if you cooperate with gulls, even being one of them, you have to accept that sometimes an egg or a hatchling may be lost. But it is better to lose one than an entire brood. Petite-looking little terns, the smallest and rarest of our terns, also use the umbrella of a multi-species colony. Just as yellow wagtails and lapwings, which were common until recently, but today their numbers are dwindling at one of the fastest rates. A lark in a wetland? Why not? Wetlands are a great mosaic of small and large niches, habitats and enclaves. In other words, something to suit all tastes. No wonder that our wetlands are inhabited by more animal and plant species than any other landscape. A true Noah's Ark. Wetlands work wonders for everyone. Some of our most rare and quickly declining bird species find their last safe haven here. In a meadow of ragged robin, a curlew has built its precious nest. A little further away, a long-legged black-tailed godwit did the same. Wetlands are sometimes unpredictable, as one black tern has just found out. Wetlands, or even duck holes overgrown with shrubs, are also home to the most romantic of birds, the nightingale. There they are, the first fledglings. They only need to be safely landed. A true leap into life. Hard to hide anxiety, but what mother wouldn't be nervous in such a moment? And so we set out together to go through life. Wetlands in spring are a giant hatchery. The large feet of small lapwings are useful when getting out of the tight eggshell and standing quickly on them to start prancing across a wet meadow. However, first you need to rest after the many exhausting hours of breaking through the stubborn shell. And where to find a cozier place than under the wary mother's warm feathers? It is also a big day today for the neighbors, redshanks. Better remove the sharp-edged open eggshells to protect the delicate hatchlings from injury. Drakes, such as this shoveler, are exempted from parental chores. Their main task is to look good and obviously pass on their genetic material. Their partners, with which the stylish drakes stay only for one short season, look after the rest. A one-off tantrum or a difficult temper manifesting itself? Against odds, it is not always the most aggressive one that wins in nature. Winning a battle? Often, yes indeed. Winning a war or life? Usually not. Even now, it shows that while the little troublemaker is looking for a quarrel, his siblings are busy eating. A very wise decision, especially when one needs to grow fast. As the old proverb goes, he who lives by the sword will die by the sword. It applies to men and geese alike. As we can see, moorhens also find their large feet useful. Back in the lark nest, hustle and bustle. This means a great deal of work ahead. All parents face a challenging time. They must protect naive children from danger, teach them to tell friend from foe and food from poison, or toilet feeding the young themselves. Greylags now put their best foot forward and cooperate. A rule that all children are ours governs their colonies. If any fledgling strays away, or what is worse, loses its parents, it can always find protection from the flock or a foster family. We bet that the Vakta rivermouth wetlands have enough space to hold all the fire-bellied toads living here. But apparently, the spring hormonal unrest prevents one male from calmly passing by another without another round of wrestling. In a slow-motion film, over 50 times slower, each croak sets the frog's body in resonance, which then spreads as quivering waves in the water. It turns out that our modest fire-bellied toads employ the same technique as mighty crocodiles and alligators from the distant tropics. Wetlands form where two elements meet, earth and water. Wetlands are like a sponge. They soak up and retain water when it is in excess, protecting us against floods. And when water runs short, wetlands slowly release the moisture locked within, preventing droughts. Also from afflicting our fields, meadows and orchards. Like every sponge, wetlands purify and filter water, soil and air. Wetlands work real wonders on the climate. This is thanks to the incredible properties of marshy soils, especially due to peats, but also plants living in wetlands. Little bitterns, mysterious cousins of herons, are inveterate loners and individualists. Bite or say hello? Hardly anybody knows of their existence, since they tend to spend their whole life hidden in the thicket of reeds and shrubs. They even avoid one another. But every spring, almost against their own nature, they form pairs and start families. Young bitterns have no such dilemmas. Their purpose is simply to swallow another serving of food, and above all, be first before their siblings. The male still calling from the nest? Perhaps it's a territorial signal and a warning to other little bitterns. However, considering the scarceness of these birds, the closest neighbor or competitor may be well away. Then perhaps the father is just showing his children how this message should sound. Born to be lucky? Maybe. But for now, it's better to take all eggshells so conspicuous to predators' eyes away from the nest. If you are a reed warbler or other typically altricial bird, that is, your young hatch naked and blind, you will face a period of intense work and great sacrifice as a parent. Thousands of insects to catch, hundreds of times per day, from dawn till dusk. Luckily, the baby birds grow very quickly and leave the nest in 2 weeks. Parenthood in a species extremely rare in Poland, the shelduck, which belongs to a group of birds known as precocial, requires less sacrifice. Or is it only our opinion? When willows shed their fluff, the penduline tit is glad. It has a material to build its cozy nest. A few more grass blades and a handful of cobweb to bind everything together. As in a colony of black-headed gulls, fledglings grow rapidly all around. A pair of elegant black storks lives in the waterlogged forests of the northern polder. The parents, just as everyone now, are busy with feeding and rearing their young. Black storks are expert fishermen, but they don't compete with the many anglers who visit these parts. The birds prefer smaller prey. Luckily, the Warta River backwaters abound in fish. Wetlands are like the horn of plenty. Those in the Warta River mouth play host to hundreds of thousands of birds and countless other creatures throughout the year. Here, everyone will find a place to stay and no one will be hungry. We are also here. Tourists, families with children, school trips, photographers and filmmakers, birdwatchers and scientists, anglers, farmers, herds of cows and horses. Because wetlands work wonders for people. No other habitat provides us with so many services as wetlands. Nevertheless, no other landscape has been more transformed or damaged by us. People have always willingly settled near wetlands and marshes to benefit from their abundant resources and use them as natural fortifications. All great civilizations originated there. Many of the world's major cities rose out of wetland sediments. Berlin, London, Paris, Washington, New York, Toronto and Gdansk. The local towns of Kostrzyn, Widnica, Słańsk, Gorzów Wielkopolski and Kauczyn also developed adjacent to the marshy Warta River Valley or on natural hills amongst wide marshlands. These towns and villages used to be a land of milk and honey, and their affluence filled many with envy. In Poland, with only several exceptions, we have drained all wetlands and modified the channels of nearly all rivers. Today, we even fill up small field ponds with rubble. Meanwhile, each of them is priceless. How will this affect the climate, our flood safety and drought risk? We slowly begin to realize. Warm wetland summer is a time of insects. Those pretty and colourful. Those mysterious and elusive. And those unbearable and annoying. The local cows and horses seek refuge amid smoke. That is why farmers keep smouldering bales of humid straw or hay for their comfort. Summer is drawing to an end. Children finally raised. Feathers changed. Plenty of food around. A moment to unwind. Without cows and horses, the Vagta River mouth landscape wouldn't be itself. These animals, and cooperation with local farmers, have an important place in the architecture of our project. Cows and horses are like living lawnmowers, which ensure that wet meadows stay what they are, instead of turning into stretches of willow thicket. Without them, the Vagta River wetlands would not be home to the thousands of birds that are drawn here from afar to raise their young, overwinter, recover their strength on a journey, or spend an entire life. In autumn, the local cows and horses, and even birds, have to make room for proud deer. It is now their turn to be carried away by a hormonal surge. The deer rut begins in the northern polder. First, there was the ancient mother goose that laid a golden egg among waters, magnificent like the sun. Thus, life on Earth began. Traditional folk beliefs and modern science agree over one point. Life originated in water. Small wonder then that life thrives the most in wetlands. And many birds living there were considered sacred by our forefathers. Who knows? Perhaps the cranes perched amongst the wetland still hold up the sky above us. The wild geese calling wake our souls to life. And when time comes, swans take them to the beyond. Winter is the time when we have revisited the over-dried meadows of the northern polder for 5 successive seasons, so as not to disturb the birds, deer or cows. After renovating ditches and sluices, the time has come for weirs and fish passes. All of this is in order to restore water to the polder and let it stay. This is how we try to repair what someone spoilt a long time ago. Because wetlands work wonders for everyone. Instead of forcibly transforming nature, rivaling or destroying it, let's cooperate with it. Nature itself teaches us that. Just look around.